Hey, I'm John Rail from SkepticallyPwned.com, continuing my review of TAM 2013. The first major highlight, which is the ultimate skeptic, fanboy, geek, feather in my cap I could imagine. I'm in Daniel Loxton's new book. Oh, also written by Donald Prothero. Seriously, check the index. John Rail, page 68. I'm walking down the hall outside the conferences, and I stop and say hi to Daniel Loxton, who's like, "Hey, John Rail, you're in my new book that I'm premiering here at TAM." I'm like, holy shit! What does that mean? Why am I in your book? Well, here's the deal. A couple years ago, I did a Bigfoot-style hoax on top of the actual Bigfoot episode I did. And, you know, nothing really happened with it. It didn't go too far. I mean, a couple bloggers mentioned it. PZ Myers, Rebecca Watson, Brian Dunning. But beyond that, you know, no big deal. But Daniel Loxton really wanted to know why somebody would conduct a hoax to begin with. Like, what's the point? You know, what's your deal, man? And if you want to find out, buy the book. By the way, I gotta say, this book is fucking gorgeous. You know, like, this book is, it's high gloss, full color. Like, it's just, you know, it's a beautifully, beautifully well-made book. You know, and it's huge. It's a thick, heavy fucking book, and you know, all the resources, all the you know, the huge index. I mean, this is a college level textbook for monsters. You know, I don't know how many classes out there require textbooks on creatures that don't exist, but if they do, this is the fucking book to have for it. In fact, I think they should actually, you know, go through the effort of maybe even making a college edition. You know, might work. Another highlight for me, which isn't really a highlight so much as a full-blown event, and not even a full-blown event for me so much as a part-time job while I'm at TAM, is, of course, doing the whole stripper thing for Penn Jillette's Bacon Donut Party. And I even got Captain Disillusion to help me film a badass sequence with me and the strippers. When I say help me, I of course mean I just grabbed him, shoved a camera in his hand, and I'm like, dude, could you just help me shoot it like this? He's like, oh, okay. Thanks a lot, Captain. I'm not sure how many of you were there last year and or this year, but this is my second year doing it, and it's awesome. I've only become better friends with my co-strippers as time has gone on, and it's been a super blast. Though this year it was pretty hectic because we actually put on two shows. There was one, of course, the Bacon Donut Party we did, but the day before, we did a show with Penn Jillette at Fremont in some rock venue, bar, club thing. I don't know. But it was fun. And of course, the Bacon Donut Party went as awesome as it always does. Though a little awkward at one point. There was a very angry Penn Jillette song about a David Gorski who wrote the open letter to Penn Teller, saying, hey, the fact that you did Dr. Oz is not really cool. And so Penn Jillette wrote a very, very angry song to David Gorski.
And I got this horrific feeling that the motherfucker might come to the show tonight. So I wrote this song to him, and if the person that wrote the open letter against us on Dr. Oz is here tonight, get the fuck out now.
Which I had the opportunity to hear the night before the actual Bacon Donut Party. And I mean, I don't know David, I've never met him, he's never met me, but I knew that he was at TAM, and I knew he was probably going to be at the Bacon Donut Party, and I knew that was going to be really awkward, and I also knew Penn Jillette clearly didn't want him there.
I put the song in right now just to tell him, if you're here tonight, get the fuck out of my party. Really, I'm not kidding. Get the fuck out. Just leave now. Drop the fucking donut and walk out of the room. Fuck you. Don't even listen to the end of the song.
So I thought, hey, civic duty, I should just throw a tweet at the guy. You know, give him a heads up. Like, hey, by the way, this is not going to be fun for you if you show up. And so he got it, and he was like, yeah, I stepped, you know, I showed up just to hear a little bit of the song, and then I bounced, so yeah, yikes. Yeah, got a little awkward, especially because Penn Jillette describes in the song that, you know, him going on Dr. Oz is no different than James Randi going on Larry King, or he himself going on Glenn Beck.
Now, James Randi did Larry King. Going on, Glenn Beck was on, but I told these people, there's no God.
I think they're a little different.
As long as it doesn't cost the city anything. You don't have a problem with that?
If it's not on public property. It can't be on public property.
Why can't it be on public
because
property?
I'm paying for that.
You know.
There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. And the big finish.
She described the accused villain as having dreadlocks, long hair.
Well, didn't he have long black hair?
No.
There might be something.
Dr. Oz, I love you.
I love you too, Penn.
Oh, I love you so much. My answer is I don't know, and your answer is something beyond comprehension.
Cannot write a
Aren't those
book.
the same answers?
Different about those things, but I don't want an angry song about me, so...
Marketplace of ideas, motherfuckers!
Of course, the best aspect of any TAM, as anyone will tell you, is the people. You know, you get to meet people who you've been communicating with online, in person, in the flesh, the meat space. You get to meet people who you've never met before. You get to meet cool people like you've seen on TV, or you've seen their shows, or you've been following them on Twitter or YouTube for a while, and finally shake hands and you get to talk with them. One of my highlights, I had a great conversation with Apollo Robbins, who the only reason I actually knew who he was is because I'm a huge fan of The Chaser and anything they produce, by extension, Lawrence Leung's Unbelievable, which is an amazing show. It featured an episode with Apollo Robbins, which is how I knew him, and ironically, he hasn't actually been able to see that episode yet. Unless, of course, he got the Dropbox that I emailed to him. I also had a really great conversation with Kuhn. I mean, we must have talked for like 2 or 3 hours about sports and MMA fighting and should steroids be allowed in sports and, you know, all kinds of stuff. It was great. Another one of my highlights was one of the optional TAM events, the Magic Show, where I finally got to see Jon Armstrong throw down some magic, because I've known Jon Armstrong for a little bit here, you know, several months. But I've only ever known him as the guy who yells at my friends, Leeman and David, because he's their director of their magic show at the Magic Castle. You should catch them if and when you can. They're awesome. But it's so much fun watching him yell at Leeman and David. I didn't know he was such an amazing magician. I also got to see Christopher Brown's son, who I'm sure also has a name, do his amazing math trick, which is really mind-blowing. It was really great to see. It was also cool to see my girl Carolyn Gayle do her magic thing, since I'm just used to seeing her yell at me as my stripping director, as it were. But yeah, she was good, really good. So, and speaking of which, this is for her, since I did not get a chance to show her when she was out here last time. One of the more interesting people I met at TAM wasn't actually at TAM, it was at Fremont for the Penn Jillette concert thing that went on at Fremont. It was for like an atheist thing. I don't know what it was for, but something to do with atheists. And I meet this guy. This guy comes up to me, nice guy, early 20s, clean cut, shaven, much more clean cut than I am right now. Normal looking dude. Introduces himself. We have like 2 or 3 exchanges, like, oh, this is what I do for a living. Oh, this is where I live. But you know, it's all being controlled by the Bilderbergs though, right? Right? What? I'm sorry. You know the Bilderbergs are all controlling this whole thing, right? Like, do you mean this bar? Like the concert? Like, because I think Penn Jillette's just doing his own concert, and I think the bar has management. No, dude. Like, the Bilderbergs are, like, you know, running the country. But that's cool, man, because I still got my gun. Like, on you? Like, here? Nah, man, it's cool. It's cool. That was fun. That was interesting. Yeah, so I gotta concur with with Jamie and Swiss, I would take a critical thinking Christian over a crazy atheist any day of the week. And I know that's a very loaded statement. I know that's a very false dichotomy to present you with, but I don't meet that kind of crazy at skeptic conferences or skeptic meetups, okay? I don't meet that kind of insane bullshit at skeptic-only places. And I know that's a very, you know, whatever thing to say, but I've never met that kind of crazy when I hang out with the skeptics. Jesus. And of course, I spent a lot of time at the Del Mar Lounge with both new and old friends and random people. And I mean, I even got along with a guy who used to troll my Facebook page, you know, which I never really minded, but one day it got a little out of hand, so I just pointed out to him that he was a middle-aged professor trolling my Facebook page, which is not what you want to say to a dapper gentleman as himself. That will end the friendship right there. But nonetheless, the magic of the Del Mar covers all manner of sin. Another great moment at TAM this year, and I am not alone on this, was George Robb's solo acoustic performance of Dark Side of the Moon in its entirety. Outside of the conference halls, just in the hallway, all of us sitting around, hanging out. And he did it beautifully. And then, you know, he took requests for his own songs. Now, usually I'm not a fan of contemporary, adult, 30-something rock and roll. You know, I grew up on Randy Roads, not Abbey Road. And so, you know, I mean, I feel good because I'm playing rock and roll. Just, I don't get it. I don't dig it. But his songs, the ones that people requested, they were great. I had a fantastic time, especially, oh my God, his song about his dog dying. Like, that broke my fucking heart. I literally had tears in my eyes about that. It was a great song, because, I mean, dogs are definitely up there on my list of, you know, animals I will not eat. You know, apes, elephants, probably not dolphins, even though they're assholes. Dogs. I will not eat a dog. It just doesn't seem fair. I mean, for thousands of years, we've essentially been breeding them to love us and be loyal to us, and to turn around and eat them, that's just, hey, just for kicks, let's have a contest. Towards the end of TAM, they were literally giving these out for free. So I took an extra one so I could give one to you. And all you have to do is make a cool video and respond to this video. And if there's more than one people who bother to make a video and respond, I'll give it to whoever's video was the best, decided by me. So if you do not have a copy of an encyclopedia of claims, frauds, and hoaxes of the occult and supernatural written by James Randi, make a video response to this video. If I like it more than other potential videos to be submitted, I will mail it to you. No charge whatsoever. I definitely missed some people this year. Missed a couple of my Australia peeps, like Polly Pumpkin, she's awesome, and Kylie Sturgis, she's awesome, though I'm sure she would have just been mad at me for recycling a joke I did last year because it doesn't quite live up to her expectations of my comedic heights, which is flattering. It's very flattering to not be allowed to reinvent old material for some throwaway jokes. But for anyone who didn't go this last time because they couldn't afford it or they can't afford it next time, sign up for the grant program. I mean, me and my girl donate to it, so there should be some money in there. All in all, it was, by definition, an amazing event. It was exhausting. It was so much fun. It was one of the friendliest, most filled with love and camaraderie events I've ever been to in my entire life. So if you never have, I highly recommend it. Here is to a great 2014 TAM. Looking forward to it. I'll see you guys next year.